Let's go!
From Nintendo and Illumination.
The Super Mario Brothers can take care of the kingdom.
Comes a super-powered adventure. On April 1st.
Pack our things.
The galaxy gets even bigger.
He knows that's my bike, right?
Yes.
The Super Mario Galaxy movie. Rated PG. Only theaters April 1st. Get tickets now.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
Oh, hi. It's Deprogrammed.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Kraft Mac and Cheese is better than 90s hip-hop. We'll remind you of your childhood without making you feel incredibly old. Kraft Mac and Cheese. Best thing ever.
Two different intros. Who knew? It is Deprogrammed, though. My name is Justin. Deprogrammed is a podcast where we try to get you into a band in case you have never given them the time of day. I am band curious. As I said, my name is Justin. The pod is a group of people get together, talk about a band and or artist, and in doing so, we will come up with a top 10 starter kit for you to get into the band as well. If that sounds like something you'd be into, hitting subscribe would be awesome for you to do right now. But that's the main pod. That's what we do on Thursdays. If you're here and you're hearing this, you've somehow stumbled across this. This is just a daily pod where we're trying to just kind of go over things that are happening and just random musical discussions and sometimes soliloquies. Is that what I'm going after here? But last week I did 2 years of Deprogrammed. I did year 1, I did year 2. Today we're going to do year 3. And I might do like year 4 and 5. I think 5 is a good place to stop it because that would put us at 2020. And we all know what happened in 2020. And that may have been like, yeah, I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now we're worrying about year 3 of Deprogrammed, which is 2018. And I took from July to July of 2017. And looks like the next one published wasn't until late April of 2018. So I took 6 months off. I don't know. Bad at math. 8 months off. 7-8 months. Well, I mean, it published that late. We may have recorded it before that. I know that Jenny, myself, and somebody else got together to watch WrestleMania, I think, or it may have been some wrestling thing that night. And then we recorded our episode on The Hives. So The Hives was the first band back. And actually, I think we didn't even record that one first. We'll get to that. I think The Hives was the first one released, but I don't think we recorded it first. But as I mentioned, I got a lot of people that were upset that I let the show die with the station, kind of to my surprise. I guess I didn't kind of clock that people enjoyed it. And at that point, you could get it, you would have to listen live and or you could pledge to the RFR Patreon and you would be able to get the download of it later. So that was I don't want to say shocking. I think part of it was people wanted to, do the show, That's kind of been one of my favorite parts about doing the show is people want to do it. More on that as we progress. But, initially it's kind of just, close friends, people that lived nearby doing the show on the station. And it was almost all in person because it was a radio show. And our technology at the time for us was rather limited. So we did have a phone in the studio clubhouse. So some people did, I think most people Skyped in at the time because Skype was still the jam. But then we moved on again in 2018. Again, the Hives is all in person. Then so there was 2 reasons that I got geeked about bringing the show back, or 3 really, because as I mentioned, number 1 was the fact that people wanted the show back. People wanted to listen. People wanted to participate. So that was number 1. Number 2, there were 2 bands that I never got around to that I always point to even now that I'm a huge fan of that I didn't get to do on the show. Never had the show kind of became my excuse for, it still is, for diving into bands. And the first one was Paramore. And that one was special for me because it was my wife. My wife was into Paramore. I loosely fan, like for sure more than me, and James Clark. And at the time, the episode did go out, and at the time I may have said something about like bad audio. There was bad audio on the initial episode, and I just put it out because I just wanted to be doing the show again. I don't care about the audio. The important thing is the conversation, get it out. So Paramore goes out. I'm a huge fan of Paramore now. As you all may have noticed on the Q&A episodes, Paramore's come up a lot in this time frame. Paramore, again, we end up re-recording it probably last year before. So if you go and look up the Paramore episode now, it's considerably shorter. If you go and look it up now, it's better audio. It's not the initial episode. It is a new version of the same episode, if that makes sense. We've done a couple of those. Right. At the Drive-In was that year too. Man, I'd really like to revisit At the Drive-In. The Twilight Singers was great because Bob France Skyped in, and Scott Rosenberg, I can't remember if he came to the house or not. I presume he did, because most of the time, if you lived in Virginia, you came to wherever I was, and we would do it in person. So I presume he did, and I know for a fact that Bob Skyped in. Twilight Singers, I don't listen to them all the time still, but there's some of their songs that, just will come up at random points in my life. So if you've never listened to the Twilight Singers, highly recommend. Chevelle was fun. I can't remember everybody on it. Evan and Jonathan, for sure, though, from my old band Stale, were on that episode. And we covered like everything. Like here's a thing of old episodes is I used to not force people to make cuts before we even got to the thing. So we would cover the entire discography. We talked about this on the REM episode in the first year. Like we would just cover everything. And it was, I want to say Chevelle at the time probably had 100-something songs. So if I recall, it was a pretty brutal episode. Don't hold me to that. It was fun because, like I said, 2 of my bandmates were on the episode, so that was fun. Phoenix was another band I was super geeked about covering for the show. I got put onto them by the movie Lost in Translation. Ben McCormick's one and only appearance on the show was Madonna Part 1, which now that we're doing these dailies, the possibility of a Madonna Part 2 is in the air. We'll cross, again, these are things we'll cross bridges when we get to them. Norma Jean. Bruno Mars was fun. Bruno Mars was Keith and Sarah Darrow. I think it may have been before they got married, though. Keith had for sure proposed. I can't remember if they had just gotten back or if they were about to go get married. But this was cool because it was a true reconciliation, because I don't want to say that there was no bad blood, but we weren't talking after the RFR was dissolved. And like I said, no bad blood. None of us felt bad, but I think we let our feelings kind of push us apart. And so this was kind of all of us coming back together, and Brian Lewis was on this episode as well. I'm sorry, that's Cake. We'll get to there later. Bruno Mars is Brian and Keith. But again, same thing, because I had to go to Keith's house for this. So, but Bruno is fun. I'd love to kind of get back into, I love whenever we kind of cover a pop artist, because it's not my wheelhouse, really, is what it is. Like, I enjoy pop music, but pop music really isn't my wheelhouse. 90s alt is. So anytime we're kind of covering, like we did Madonna there, Phoenix back there, Bruno Mars, A Tribe Called Quest was the next week. Yeah, we're covering stuff that, even though I may be somewhat familiar, I love getting my boundaries pushed. So keep that in mind. Best of 2017. So this is only our second best of ever. And I met Fredo in Newport News because he was in town for a work thing. And I met him at his hotel room, and we do what we do. I mean, I recommend going back to these best ofs because they're fun, number one, and they kind of tell us where the show was at this time. Sublime. This one gets buried, and Jody, if you're listening, Jody, they can chime in on this. It was a lot of fun, but it was also kind of a disaster, and I won't say much more than that. It was fun, but somewhat of a disaster. U2 Part 1, Alice Cooper Part 2, our very first Part 2 getting covered. Veruca Salt was fun. Again, I'm a lover of that era of music, those 90s alt bands, and it was nice to finally take a dive into Veruca Salt. Veruca Salt, and more of this happens like as we go on, but I feel like this is what this show is for to sing the praises of these unsung hero bands. Veruca Salt's great. It's great to give them some love on the show. Def Leppard. So I talked about this on one of the Q&As, the Def Leppard episode. So I won't go into too great details, but this is where the Fredo sessions started, the very first one. I think we only did 2, maybe 3 Fredo sessions, but this is one of them, and this was the first one, at least, that got released. I feel like there might have been one before that. Maybe I was just putting my foot down before it got too bad, because I feel like, again, early on, especially when the show came back, the punch at Justin was always, he doesn't pick the hits. So again, we won't rehash the full-on story, but that's where this is. So Def Leppard was Fredo Sessions, Motley Crue was Fredo Sessions, Iron Maiden was Fredo Sessions. I must have missed one on the last page. Oh, that's right, because Alice Cooper Part 2 was part of it. I purposefully released Alice Cooper and Veruca Salt in the middle of the Fredo Sessions because I was trying to space them out a little. So Alice Cooper Part 2 was the first episode of the Fredo Sessions, and I think I ended up not doing that with the rest of the episodes. I think it's possible I had trouble because I was going camping or something, and I couldn't land the plane on a couple other episodes. But yeah, so Alice Cooper Part 2, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, and Iron Maiden were all recorded the same day within 4, maybe 5 hour time frame. It's probably more than that, but you get my drift. Hole, again, being one of those bands that not necessarily unsung, because Courtney Love kind of became a prominent figure, but I think the band itself kind of gets overlooked, and they had some great stuff. Hole is Brian Lewis and Peter, I believe. Don't hold me to that. No. It's Andy and Peter. And this may have been Peter's return to the show. I don't recall coming across him yet. Bruno, Norma Jean, Madonna, Phoenix Chevelle. I know this isn't wrong. No, this was his first episode back, since the show got relaunched in 2018. And Radio Sessions whole, there's cake. And like I said, so this, I think, it released in September rather. But I think we recorded it somewhere around when they had come back from their honeymoon. But it was nice to be with the Darrows, who are great friends. Blues Brothers, that's Fredo and Keith. Garbage is another Peter episode. Jimmy Eat World, bless their hearts. Keith never got into Jimmy Eat World, so he was doing a discovery for this, and this was the other band that I was geeked to do upon relaunching the show. So I came prepared. It's probably my favorite 20 I've ever done. I feel like if you go back and listen to that episode, if you pluck out the 20 that I did and put that in a playlist, you would get into Jimmy Eat World. It was the first time we had to pick out of the trash to finish our list. So eventually, New Trash Protocol, this is the episode that made me put New Trash Protocol into place. And I don't remember where it officially gets its name, but this is the episode that made it happen. Silverchair, I believe was Jonathan. In Excess. Man, some of these bands I need to get back to, In Excess especially. Nickelback. Nickelback is, I think we approached it as a Please Explain. It's not listed as one, but it was a Please Explain. So I didn't listen to their discography. Basically, that's what the Please Explains were. I wasn't willing to do the work. You're not making me listen to 90 Nickelback songs. Give me 40 and I will take 20 and we will mash them together that way. And that's what Nickelback was. All that said, whatever, man. They're a generic rock band. They're fine. They've sold a lot of records. I know that technically doesn't mean anything, but it does mean that they resonated with somebody. Silver Sun Pickups. And here, this one is an important one in the history of the show too. We did Pearl Jam next, and Pearl Jam set like a whole wave of new panelists. So our Pearl Jam episodes, and if we do the interviews, John will be able to answer himself, but Pearl Jam's the episode that gets John on board. And from there, Randy joins, Curtis, all sorts of people come from. Brian Cohn, who's came on like 2 years ago. All them come from John listening to the Pearl Jam episode. Just putting that out there. Pearl Jam's a rather important episode in the history of the show. Blondie, we did. Butthole Surfers, my brother Rob was on that episode. Massive Attack. My Chemical Romance, we're still in 2018. Now we're into December of 2018. Eminem, Against Me, White Zombie.
It's the Paradise Podcast.
I am your host, Ryan Michelle Bethay, with my husband, Sterling.
What's up?
Join us here on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus, where we'll discuss each episode with the cast and crew of Paradise. I'll be getting all the secrets from Dan Fogelman, James Marsden, Shailene Woodley, Julianne Nicholson, and Sterling Kelby Brown. Woo! Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming.
And stream Paradise on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus.
Stevie Wonder rounded out our year. So our second part 2, Stevie Wonder part 2. So we haven't done a ton of part 2s. I'm not a fan of part 2s in general. Anyway, there you go. That is year 3. And like I said, I'll do year 4 and year 5 probably, and then we'll call it a day when it comes to these. I don't think anything much interesting. Maybe I'll try to figure out where some of the last couple of rule changes happened, and we can talk about those as they come up. But there you have it. That was year 3. If you enjoyed that, hit the subscribe button. Share with somebody. Would super duper appreciate that. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.